That was cool. My idea was that we would have the little chant at the end and then wrap it up with. But that was cool. It was very cool. Diraj, how are you doing
Uh,
today?
I'm fine, just a little sleepy head. Early morning for me,
And
very early
Finbear's about
morning
to
for
join
me.
us. You said 3.
Yeah, 3:30 to be exact. But it's okay. Once a week.
What's up, Crypto in the Hood?
Uh,
Hey, Belly Hex. Red Squirrel. Bit Finesse is going to be back. How's the weather down there in Dominican Republic? Truth.
mm, Other than that, a bit finish. Somebody was asking if we should get a new intro. We are working on it. Maybe in a couple of days. Look, it takes time and effort for doing that, and we are not getting paid off YouTube, nor are we selling any links. So, yeah, if you want a new intro, you are happy to make one for us, then we'll
You
be happy. But don't no
indeed.
expectation from work of others.
I love
So,
it. I love it. If you want
uh,
your shit on this, make it. We will put it on.
the other thing is, yeah, I think we'll dive directly into the topic for today, which is designing a garden that yields $1,500 per acre. Now, I've chosen this
Per
number specific
per month, per week, per day, what?
per,
Per year?
per year,
Of course.
per annum,
What am I
or
thinking?
at least per season, I guess. The
Mm.
thing is, I saw corn that is grown in India. So profitability of corn is around 441. It means, so if we want people to the regular agriculture to our garden or permaculture, this, like, this should be the figure. If permaculture garden is paying you three times more, then growing corn, it would be economic suicide to be growing corn.
Okay, yeah.
Uh, I
Because
don't know
around here
whether
we
I am
subsidize corn.
cutting off or
You're cutting off just a little bit.
yeah. So
So what you just analyzed was corn per acre is a downfall to a landowner, and that if they were to optimize that with a permaculture system, um, and take their stuff to market and sell it high end organics, then they would be making 3 times as much. And why don't you give them your punchline with this 1,500 per acre?
yeah, the simplest way of achieving $1,500 per acre is grow opium. So, so but no, I that's just a joke. Uh, like, and it's not that it's not possible, because usually in permaculture we are not growing just at one level. It's usually six or seven levels. Like, you can grow what you call it, grasses, shrubs, small trees, tall trees. So it's not just one source of income. That is how it is actually possible to get. Uh,
Real
and I
fast,
guess
HOA, get either myself or Diraj your email address that you associate with your thing. It must have been too hard, or maybe you changed something. So I think that's admin features, right? Go ahead, Diraj.
yep. Are you joining in the with the same account? Uh, that's
Yeah, if you
anyways.
already had a wrench next to your thing, then you changed something. If you never had it, then it was impossible for me to find you in the system. Like I tried to find a old friend that's trolling me lately, and I posted this stuff in the chat. He made another comment under another video of mine. He hasn't yet made it into my Hex Futures account or this Hex Foodie stuff, Hex Guild, but he had gone after my Davenhoit account, which is my permaculture and appropriate technology account. So he's just everything that's related to crypto, which is only like 2 or 3 videos. He goes and trolls me. So I, I deleted his comments after I responded to one of them, letting him know that like he's deleted from my life. This guy is uh, I can't describe it, but I did describe it in the chat. But I deleted his stuff, and then I went back and tried to find his account so that I could then block him, but I couldn't even find him on YouTube. So maybe he's one of those people that doesn't have any videos, is one of those armchair quarterbacks. He wants to comment on everybody
Uh,
else's stuff.
yeah,
So
I
you were just
think you can.
describing that. Do you have something to add to these notes?
Yeah, I just said I think you can just click on the name and block user on this channel. Uh, uh, let's. I don't know how.
It gave me
I'm
the
still
option
getting
to
used.
mute them, to where it's
That
like if they
should
make a
be.
comment, it just won't show up.
Yeah,
So
I
that's an
think
interesting
that's.
feature,
That,
but I'd like to just, do away with the whole thing, become invisible to that person, like we do in Twitter when we block people.
yeah. Mm, Anyways,
Speaking of,
man,
last
haters
night,
are people.
last night I hosted a space. Um, it was Hex News, and I posted the YouTube version of that into the chat. Check that out. There was um, Hex Kef, or you would probably pronounce him Keef, and Hex is the Way and Trap Gravity, all back to back. Each one of them had a few minutes to talk. It was the first trial thing. I'm wanting to do this every Tuesday night. And Axis Alive was talking like he was going to join us, and he had too much on his plate. And then I come to find out he had multiple live streams within the last 24 hours. So this would just, be overload. But people like that who are really good about addressing an audience, I'm interested in getting them on the Tuesday show. And so that's just a Twitter space that's live, and then I'll record it on YouTube and post it to something called Just the Tip Hex News. So keep a lookout for that, please.
Yes, and join the Telegram chat to get your latest updates live. Link in the description.
That's t.me/Hex Guild.
Hextech. Yeah. I don't know. Finbera is joining. Should we wait, or you are going to explain some of these
So how
garden
about
designing chart?
how about we go straight to the diagram that has a
Yeah.
bunch of green circles?
Yeah. Let me bring that up.
Thanks so much for doing this, man. Finbar, are you going to join us? And then I was gonna send this out to Pulsargeist. You guys remember him from 2 episodes ago? And someone else was on my mind. Okay, so what we're looking at right here is a breakdown of how plant families relate to each other. So they, in some way, these plant families react to each other and promote each other. And sometimes they don't like each other, they discourage each other. So what I did was I analyzed a flow chart kind of thing, an infographic that was created by a Dutch woman who is a graphical artist. And so I analyzed her thing and started recognizing that if I put a fruit tree in the middle of, if I made it to where the fruit tree was in the middle of a design, then this is how the plant families would go radially outward. And you can see, who's a fin bear?
Wait,
You, so where the X is with the dot,
Don't
that's a fruit tree, and it says ROS on top of that. I know it's hard to read. I'm sorry. This sketch should get better and updated, but like anything, you need to get the information out there as soon as possible. What's up, Tin Top? I see you. So then there's the Aster family and the Alley family and the Amaranth family right off to the side of the Rose family, X, right? So the Rose family is the fruit tree. The Aster family is a common flower with many petals and that center pollination pad. And then, so like a sunflower. And then the Alley family, that's, I forget how to pronounce the whole name, but that's the onion family. So that would be like garlic and stuff placed there at the base of that at the base of that fruit tree. And then the amaranth family, I believe that's hemp and hemp's cousins. So
like
then,
oats.
what's that?
Like oats. I believe
I
oats
don't think
are.
so. I think
I,
oats
I
are all
think
the
they're
way
in.
out. I think oats
They're
are
not
all the
in the
way
same
out
family.
at the POA, the
Yeah.
POA, underneath
Yeah.
the legumes there. So
I
yes, sir.
sorry. I think the amaranth doesn't include actually hemp. It's like more like spinach and amaranth itself. Like I'm not sure, but sorry. Please continue.
Maybe. Then out. So all of those guys, they get along. So they can be there within the first 3 feet of the tree, underneath the drip line, within the drip line. They're at the roots, not disturbing the roots. And then outside of that is the AP. And I'm not sure what the full pronunciation of AP is. I actually forget what is in the AP family. So sorry, bear with me. So that can cover quite a bit of ground right there, the AP. And inside of it, there down at the very bottom is ASP, meaning asparagus. So the asparagus can sit within that. I don't want to say no man's land, but that's what I'm describing, right? Where a family just dominates this area and all around. And keep in mind, asparagus, it's not going to yield for quite a few years. So hurry up and get that stuff into the ground so that it can yield for you. And it's also hands off if you've got it in the right place. Asparagus is an awesome thing. I don't know if you like to eat grass. Finbear, do you like asparagus over there?
I'm not a huge fan, but when it's in season, yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Only as a side dish to steak, I guess.
Yeah, obviously, I'm not like a main course.
And j- just a small kind of self-help, not self-help, but presentation tip, like if you don't know, just uh, act as if the audience doesn't know you know very well. So yeah, this is the API group of family,
Yeah,
and move on.
everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Hey,
What's
Paul,
up, Paul Sachs? So
do you have brassicas up there?
yeah, so brassicas, very cool. So the Poly G acronym, or not acronym, but abbreviation or whatever the heck that thing is, that also fits inside of the AP, just like the asparagus does. So up there at the top, we've got the brassy upside down written, and it goes out like a nipple protruding into the barrage family, the lamy family, and the Solanaceae family, which is the nightshades. So the boar is the barrage family, the lamy is the mint family, and you can tell a mint family easy by its leaves that are making a plus sign. Uh, the
On the
opposing
stem.
leaves.
So are they always like 90 degrees from
Hmm.
the previous set?
So let's,
They
yeah,
are.
90 degrees and
Okay,
180
cool.
from each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it protrudes into the Solanaceae. And what the Solanaceae is, the nightshade family. So we're talking about potatoes. Or wait, we're
Or
talking about,
potatoes.
I know we're talking about eggplant and tomato, but I forget if we're talking
Okay,
about, I
potato
guess
goes
not.
there as well.
Okay, cool.
It does. It does because you can. We've talked about this. You can take a cucumber and cut it off from its root, and you can stick it onto a potato, and it grows. You get both the potato and the tomato from the same footprint, same plant
Right.
even.
We actually
Because the
covered this in one of the
yeah
episodes a while back.
yeah, and we've shared a video in
Hmm.
the chat, so some of you guys know it already, but most of you don't, and that's okay.
Crypto Truth is reminding, smash the like and hit the
Oh yeah,
subscribe.
you better. I've noticed we never ask people to subscribe or hit the likes or
It just
anything like that.
vacates my mind.
Yeah, maybe we should. I don't know,
Hey, and
but
pass
I'm
it to
pretty
somebody
sure
else.
it wouldn't help. Wouldn't hurt, I meant to say. Hopefully it would
Freudian
help.
slip.
Yeah.
And make cuts and pass them to other people and make our fucking intro video. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd love something else other than the greatest hits from Middle Africa.
All right. So the idea is that the Brassicus family, which is your broccoli and your kale, is able to protrude or interact with the barrage family. Um, it's able to
So is that
touch
like
the
the
AP family.
broadleaf? Is it
Um,
like a broadleaf or
it's that like
is it the
waterproof,
the
the
okay.
fleshiness. I'm not. I never. I don't think I ever learned what is the difference between those very hard kale and very hard uh, broccoli leaves compared to like a spinach leaf.
Yeah.
You know how they're like durable and they're able to take on the cold
Yeah.
weather. That's what they're able to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're able to take on
They're
ice
like
for
they don't mind at all.
a
Like
while.
it can
Yeah.
snow on yeah, it can snow on them and once it goes above zero they're like, yeah, fuck
It does
that man.
remind me of like a seal's skin or something. Um, So the brassicas again is able to go up against the AP and the barrage and the Lamy and the Solanaceae, and that's why it's drawn the way that it is, because this is just a diagram so that you can start designing, laying stuff out. And SJ appears. Good to see you.
Hello, miss.
She was going to join me here, but she had bus troubles. So hopefully that bus gets up and running. Let's give her some good thoughts. Good bus
Hey,
running.
SJ, the
Wheels
next
on the bus go round and round.
Next bus we're gonna get is the kind that just flies places. So we just hit the coordinates and zip, we're there. So that's the next update on the bus.
Hey, Finbear.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. STW Crypto, you can craft tomatoes on a potato, and both of them will do just fine because they're of the same family.
And we're not asking you to leave and go watch another video, but you can find this on YouTube.
Yeah, and it's even in the Hex Foodies chat. That's freaking awesome. What I'm gonna do this spring is I'm gonna have to take a top off out of my biggest apple tree because it's the only one. It's the only branch that's still growing up, and I want to stop it. I want to have more fruit and less tree. So I'm gonna cut off the branch that's pointing up, and I'm gonna take like maybe like a foot long whip out of the branch, as many as I can, and I'm gonna keep them in the basement where they're gonna be in the shadow and in the shade, and it's gonna be really cold for a long time in the basement. And once spring kicks in, I'm gonna go and see if I can get some get some apples grafted into local crab apple trees and rowans, because I know both of them should take an apple graft pretty well.
Guys, I had bare roots delivered to me, $500 worth. I'm really excited. My day is decided. I'm gonna have to do that for the next 6 hours or whatever.
What roots?
Putting more trees in the ground.
That's cool.
Those droughts in the last year had really fucked up my yard. So I'm trying it again, and I've got a few things that are budding out lately. Like today, a few more have budded, and then last week some have budded because we've had warmer temperatures lately. But I'm really excited. Down from like the Dallas area, this person that I ordered from last year, they UPS'd me some stuff, and freaking awesome. My day is decided.
All right. Hey, my tip to you is dig a deep hole.
Deep hole.
It doesn't have to be wide all the way down. Like it can start pretty wide if you want to mulch it and stuff, but you can sort of center it into like a maybe 2 shovel widths or something, and try to go as deep as you can, because it's gonna help the taproot go deep, so you don't have to water them.
So my issue is limestone. That I'm not gonna hit bedrock very quickly. I'm pretty sure there is bedrock, like 10 feet down or something.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't expect you to go 10 feet with a shovel, but maybe
totally
2 feet,
Oh, I'll definitely
maybe
go
3
2
feet.
feet. I'll
3 feet maybe.
be trying to get 3 and 4. So my issue or what I've been doing, and I've shared this with the group, is that I mulched at least 6 inches everywhere on my property, including or using stuff that was like dropped off by trucks that did this sort of thing and didn't care about what they put in there. So like every once in a while I'd find a plastic container was thrown into the mulcher, and I'd be picking out that stuff. And so luckily I've had enough time for all those unwanted sprouts to pop up and me to pick them out, one by one. And for the wood that isn't that great, for it to break down, and the mold time period, mold and mushrooms. It's
Yeah.
been pretty interesting.
What
So
what did
what I'm
the neighbors say anything?
no, they're all good. Yeah, they let me do what I want to do.
Yeah. You don't have a neighborhood association getting on your ass over the mulching your
Like not
driveway.
mulching everything. The
Gavin,
only
you're
issue
gonna
I
have to
had,
stop mulching the driveway. Never.
the only issue I ever had was just a month ago. The city was like, "Hey, you've got some tall weeds," and then boom, the freeze hits, and everybody's trees like fall to the ground, and it takes them an entire month. I mean, they're still out there on the ground for a lot of my neighbors. Um,
Nobody
and so it's
cares
just
about
like,
your weeds, man.
exactly.
Imagine getting fined for the weed thing
Yeah. And
in a
there's
town
piles of
like this.
brush
Yeah,
everywhere on people's
everywhere.
lawns.
Yeah, looks like a fucking disaster area.
I started
So you gotta
asking
take care of your weeds, man.
that person who was in charge of getting on to me about the weeds. Um, I started asking him about like, well, who do I get in touch with whenever it is that I see that there are metals being sprayed above my head and it's changing the weather? And he was like, oh, well, sounds like you need to contact your state representative. So I've already started like probing people a little
Hey, do
bit.
you know what I heard this interesting thing from Curtis? What's his last name? He's a permaculture guy as well. I'm sure you know him. He lives in somewhere in Canada.
Curtis.
Fucking Curtis something or other. He's one of them anarchists. Anyway, he reckons, and he's not alone in this, that you can fight chemtrails by boiling vinegar. He says that boiling vinegar, like lots and lots of vinegar outside, like dude boils like a gallon of it in a in a big like a like a big bucket
Wow.
outside. And he says that it clears up the sky, and that fog that stays after the planes go past, and sometimes it lingers on for hours. But once he starts boiling that stuff, it just clears off in like 15 minutes. I don't know.
I
I
don't,
don't know why. But
yeah, I
when you
don't
boil
understand
shit
how.
outside, I'm pretty sure something evaporates.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're
And
still going to
vinegar
have
has
polluted
acid in
soil.
it.
Maybe your skies clear up, but you're still going to have polluted soil.
I don't think vinegar is a very strong pollutant.
I'm talking about what is in the spray. If it
Yeah, but it's coming down
displaces
anyways.
it. Yeah. SJ is going to have a stream tonight.
I'm gonna have plenty of practice on building different kinds of setups like this, because I planted. I think I have like 12 or 13 more trees left after the
They're
winter,
in pots
and
right
the
now?
kids. No, they're in the ground. This is like their first spring that they're in their proper place.
Okay, real
But
fast.
I only have like strawberry and shit planted around them, so there's a lot
Okay.
of stuff I can plant. still like next to each one.
SJ will be live in 5.5 hours. Y'all set your alarms for 5.5 hours. So you're talking
Cool.
about you're talking about this diagram. You'll be able to
Yeah.
utilize it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And of course I've got the Google mount issue
Yeah.
back there. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to go into the ground this spring. I'm gonna have to get busy with the planting because we have to pre-grow everything inside. Well, not everything, but mostly most of everything that takes more than 2 weeks to grow.
STW crypto, I agree with you. Putting down wood chips throughout the years,
Yeah,
and that's
and
what I was.
that's a massive amount of wood chips
Yeah,
that would suppress anything.
but that also might rob the carbon or the nitrogen from the plants, that you are trying to grow.
Yeah, that's a huge load of carbon if there's no like I
If
might if it's that much I might even sprinkle some horse manure or something between the layers.
Yeah,
But
if
I
I
don't
started
know.
doing that,
It
I would
depends. Like
throw soil on top of it in order to help it break down. I would increase the amount of possibilities for mushrooms, and I would spread
yeah,
water as much as possible. I would,
if
the
it's that
rainfall that
thick,
comes, try
if
to
it's that
spread that
thick,
rainwater
it's
everywhere.
gonna be wet throughout the season from the absolute bottom layer. If it's 1 or 2 feet thick, it's gonna stay wet throughout the entire season.
And this is what I
So
was getting to, was that I made sure that I put at least 6 inches everywhere, so that the clay soil down below stayed moist, and things could happen down there. Life cycles could happen, as I like to tell people, life cycles,
yeah,
all sorts
yeah,
of
that's when it
microbes.
gets really interesting. When stuff starts living and dying and living and dying and
So an idea that I've had lately is, like, why not go and grab some chicken manure compost and just spread that everywhere on the lawn to help break down these huge layers of mulch that I've got going on.
yeah, I've been thinking about trying to mitigate soil that is it's practically ruined because you might have like an old lot in the middle of the city that used to be a gas station there. The gas station's taken down, but still in the ground there's like 1 or 2 fuel tanks left, and one of them has leaked into the ground. So you can't legally build anything there because the ground is poisonous.
We
So
have
what you have to
similar
do is,
regulations here.
at a great expense, you need to dig out all the ground and replace it with some sift sand, and basically it becomes ridiculously expensive. But I've been wondering, because mushrooms are so sort of keen on finding ways to utilize all these long ass chains of hydrocarbons like that you find in oils and in gasoline, that I'm pretty sure that if you gave mushrooms a good enough opportunity, they would find a way to utilize those sources of energy, and you could just sort of mitigate a long-term sort of oil spill that has happened underground. You could fix it with measures done above the ground, but still go hundreds of meters deep, like fungi does, without having to dig around for shit, you know.
That's very cool. Yeah, we have.
Because I base this on this finding that Paul Stamets said that he sells this mushroom package that people can buy. I think it was like, oyster mushroom or something that people can grow at home. And he took one of those packages at home. He grew, I think, 3 flushes out of it, and then it sort of ran out of juice. It doesn't run on juice; it runs on sawdust or something inoculated. But it had no more energy in it, and he had changed his oils to his car, so he had the waste oil container, and just on a whim he just dunked it the the mushroom thing out of he took it out of the plastic bag and like dunked it into the waste oil container and like forgot it for something like a week or something. And wouldn't you know it, the fucking mushroom just ate up all the oil and just started producing more mushrooms.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Diraj,
That's where I got the idea. So I was thinking
will you pull that back
inoculating
up?
a fuckload of sawdust and then spread it over the the infected earth. And
Where do you need to buy the mushrooms? Where do you need to get them delivered
you don't
from?
need to buy them. Like you inoculate like a tanker truck full of sugary water or something, and you let it grow, and then like you keep sawdust underwater for like a week so that it goes fully anaerobic. And then
Okay.
once it's fully anaerobic, then you bring that up and dry it out in the sun, which causes all the anaerobic stuff to die, which means all the material is then by default sterile. And then you spray the spawn you yourself have grown.
Open air in the sun or
You can
closed
do it open air
in a
because like you're dealing with
clean
huge
place?
amounts of inoculant.
Okay, I wanted
Like
to
you can have,
address this comment about the UN,
they're
debating
doing it
things.
already.
Yeah, whenever they come out and say stuff, then they're actually already doing it and testing. And this is a part of all the issues that we're experiencing with finance is should we locally make these decisions or should we have some worldwide governing body? You guys were right at the level of having to fight this with the next COVID bullshit that they're going to try to bring to us.
Yeah, and
They're
the
about to
climate
bring the
lockdowns.
banking system to us, and who? Why should they have a dictatorship over our? Somebody just tried my door right now. some
God
old
damn it.
some old man. Why don't you read the advertisements I have on the TVs?
Maybe he's like interested. Excuse me, sir, can you tell me more about these wonderful products of yours?
He just comes and yanks on the door and then he heads like right on the other side of the street. So it's just like that was a last course resource. And then he's probably got a wife that's in the shop next door or something.
He's gotta pee really bad.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
Mm,
Just the libraries right down the road.
yeah, he's trying everything because library is too far.
Okay.
He knows it's too late if it comes down to the library. He's pissing next to the car parked in front there. He's not gonna make it.
It's plain day. Dude, that's a serious subject. That's very sad. I feel sorry for folks that can't hold it anymore.
Yeah, it is. I would imagine so. Yeah.
But yeah, like please encourage conversations about weather and how weather has been manipulated with with your neighbors. The sooner you let them know that this sort of thing is happening, the sooner they'll open their eyes because it takes a few people in order to say anything about it. Because it's just such a foreign idea. They're not getting that idea from mainstream media. Therefore, it's
No.
foreign and it's dangerous.
Yeah, that's one thing that's really interesting. Is
But just like they're going to tell you how old the world is, um, they don't know, and so they're going to tell you that we're coming up on an ice age, or like whatever the hell with weather. Like, fuck these people.
Yeah.
They're trying to convince you of one thing or the other, and you are the product. You're allowed. They don't come and slaughter you for a reason. You are the product. You are to be manipulated.
Life becomes so much easier when you turn off the TV, like
Indeed.
completely. You can't leave it on in the background. That's
Oh,
too much.
goodness.
Just unplug the thing, and everything becomes magnitudes better immediately.
Okay, so we're
I might have made him fall asleep.
yeah,
No, uh,
Ah,
I'm awake.
sweet.
Uh, just nothing productive to add, so I'll keep quiet.
Okay, I
yeah.
want to continue with the diagram. The Solanaceae is over there, kind of in the
Reduce
middle
noise.
circle. And then once again, asparagus is able to exist with Solanaceae around it. So just like over there at the AP family, the asparagus is able to fit in the middle of that. Well, it's able to fit inside the nightshade family as well. Daraj, you just changed that up. Daraj.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Like, uh, this is the
You were
second time it
polishing your
happened.
golden mic.
No, nothing. Yeah, like
Are you able to put it back
it.
on?
I think I think it's like sorry.
If you have to edit this video or take it down or whatever, I completely understand. The golden mic. Daraj, do you have lyrics to go with your golden mic?
Yeah. So
Like custom lyrics?
I hope you can.
It's about to
Who's
pop
that?
up. Sweet.
Well, Land Wales only made a video for it. It's funny, but anyways, continue with the presentation, please.
The asparagus is in the middle of the nightshade family, and then outside of the Solanaceae family, which is the nightshade family, then there's the cucumber family, and it's cucurby something or other. Then on the outside of that is the Poe family, which I understand to be the grains. And then outside of that is the legume family, which is the beans. So the cucumbers will be able to relate to the nightshade family and the grain family. And then the grain family can relate to the cucumber family and the legumes. Now, the legumes are all the way out there and they'll be nitrogen fixing. So you could have bushy plants, or you could have small trees that are these legume. And then I've also got slash fab because I think you call it legume to be a bean, but it's the Fabaceae family that stands for the legumes. So that's really my presentation of how it is that you could you could design using this tool. I have had interest in classifying each of the plants that you would want to use in a permaculture garden and have it to where like you divide up like say you've got a clean slate and then you grid that clean slate out and then you place a plant here on a digital technology, so like an app, and then it allows you the option to select what plant you want around that, and then it would like auto populate your options based on what it is that you select. I had this idea for an app, and I just didn't have the money prior to now, of course. Maybe I'll revisit that idea, or maybe it is that the permaculture community wouldn't care for that. I don't know. I think it's a really good idea. I just hadn't had too much momentum behind it. Diraj, are you able to go to those layouts that I had with color, and they're actually like 10 by 10s or 20 by 20s?
I'm searching for that bit.
Orion's
Like
asking, what is the hardiness zone of this garden? The hardiness zone, you're able to utilize like that right there was a diagram in order to help you identify the placement of plants, but the hardiness would be based on the actual plants that you choose from that family. So you decide. Finbear, what hardiness zone are you in? Do y'all do that sort of thing? You're muted.
We have zones over here, like
3 of
within.
them? 2 of them?
With, I think there's like 5, or like
Wow.
5 with differentiation. So there's like 5A and 5B. But when you go up to Lapland, that's very close to Arctic. Like the summer is really short and very sunny, but the growing season is 6 weeks tops.
Wow.
And it has like there's like maybe 3-4 weeks of spring when the nights are so cold that it's really difficult to get up and grow yet. And then once it warms up, yeah, you could maybe have like 8 weeks of growing season. And then like a month or 2 months of everything just slowly dying. But
All right. Well,
overall, our like plants need to be pretty hardy or pre-grown inside to get them to fruit over here.
with the same diligence, which is lack of diligence, I wanted to get this stuff out there so that I could share it as much as possible. So this is me scanning in my notes and then putting a little bit of color, putting a title block so that all the information's there. It may be hard to read. Over there on the right side, you'll see it says flat rows design, meaning the ground is flat, and I'm not calling for any topography changing. And instead, we're just identifying how many feet in between the rows, how long the rows are, uh, what plants are on the same rows, or what plants are on different rows, or on the different sides of the garden layout. And so my idea behind this was, what if it is that there was a cool piece of artwork, and I'm not saying that this is a cool piece of artwork. I'm saying that this is just me communicating. What if it is that there was this cool piece of artwork that hung in a living room, and it had the awesome little plant fruit bodies all over it, and it was laid out in a cute way, with like watercolor artistically, and it was a very technical garden design, and it was maybe like 20 feet by 20 feet, which is what these things are laid out as. Therefore, a child and parents could point to this cool little piece of artwork and say, do we have 20 feet by 20 feet in our backyard? We could try to make this exact thing. And then there they are, expressing themselves in a garden that
Yeah.
is already
Also,
to be successful.
one of the best ways to get a kid to try vegetables is to have him grow them,
Ooh,
because he's gonna be proud to like taste the carrot that he's grown himself, or
yeah.
see what a pea tastes like finally, because you get to dig it out from the pod that you grew yourself.
I can imagine plenty of people having 20 foot by 20 foot in their front yard or their backyard. Like I can imagine the mother being like, hell no, we're not putting that in the front yard. But in the backyard, it seems as though, right up against the fence line, and then that
Why
wouldn't be
not?
too far from
Yeah,
your back door either. So the kids could get busy with watering it. Now
and
there's going to be this other level.
that's less grass to cut. So
There we
that's
go.
another positive. Yeah, you don't have to put up a pool because you have a good excuse. So you could finally people are gonna be they're gonna stop asking you why you're not putting up the pool, even though you spoke about it at the party a couple of years ago. Finally get that thing off the you
They're
know
they're
off the
gonna
record.
have the planned obsolescence of our watering system, so they'll have to keep that in mind. Try to collect rainwater as much as possible. Duraj, can we go to a different plan, or can we start going through the plans? Because I think there's 8 of them. And FYI, guys, whenever you see these things in the chat, there is a south arrow, meaning that's where the sun's coming from. So just in my area, reverse that for yourself if you're in the southern hemisphere. And then in the bottom right corner, there's a number. I believe I go from number 1 to 8. So this one is a quad trees design. The idea is that each one of those trees is different, and each one of them has a guild around it. And then there's paths through the middle of it. And then it looks as though I've got a path actually going around the whole thing as well. So it's 2 foot worth of path going all the way around, and then 4 foot fatter ones in the middle, so that you'd have access to them. And
Yeah, I would have
there's
to
a design.
fence. I would have to fence this. It would actually be a good thing if I had something like that. Then I could just fence that and keep the rabbits out. Now I have to build these cages around the trees. I lost a couple of trees already, like in the early winter. One of the asshole rabbits came in, completely ate the entire thing. I think there's like this much left.
Oh my goodness, there are rabbits underneath my neighbor's house, and I didn't really think about it. But this morning, whenever I was looking at the trees, there was some gnawing of.
Oh man, you gotta snipe that
mm,
bastard. Get a BB gun.
there's, there's some gnawing on a peach tree.
Oh man, we don't even get peach trees over here. You need to do that stinky oil that the
Oh yeah, I actually made that, and I, I I tried to start a business
hmm?
with that stinky oil.
Yeah.
So I've actually made Sepp Holzer's deer repellent, and the idea
How did
behind
you
it,
burn it?
with 2 pots, one of them in the ground and one of them above the ground, and then
With some clay
there's a
shit
mesh.
between them.
There's a mesh holding the bones in the top one,
Yeah.
and then as you have that pyramid of fire, it heats up the bone stuff so much that the marrow falls through to the bottom and
Yeah.
becomes that goo and resting at the bottom. But
Yeah.
this bottom one is underneath the ground, and then you seal everything with soil clay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
and
then
it burns to like completely black.
yes, it
Yeah.
does. And
So
then
it's
you add
almost like the stuff that you scrape from the bottom of your barbecue.
hmm except for it's more gooey because it's been
More good.
mixed with like bone marrow and fat
Yeah.
and ligaments maybe. And so
All the goodie stuff.
you mix that stuff with more manure and sand, and there was something else like there was some other thing that you mix with it. Oh, linseed oil in order to give it a little bit of
Make
movement.
it runny or something. Yeah.
hmm But the thing that you want to do is only apply that to plants' bark. You don't want to apply that to fleshy plants.
Oh
It'll
yeah. Yeah.
suffocate them and kill them.
Yeah. Because of the linseed oil hardens. If it's boiled linseed oil, it hardens as it cures.
So you want to use raw linseed oil.
I think I would. Either way, it doesn't damage an apple tree. Like
It doesn't.
use whichever way, whichever one you want. But if it's boiled, I believe it hardens. I could be wrong though.
Welcome IP. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Ipresileto. Um, so what I learned was that you want to apply it to plants like these trees to discourage the bucks from whenever whenever it is that they feel like they're growing their horns during a certain time of year, they're going to go rub on these trees, and you want to just make it to where this tree that you've selected, that you've put the stuff on, is less interesting than a fresh tree over here. So you
Yeah,
just want to discourage that little bit, but they're going to do what they fucking want to do, these
yeah,
bucks. And they're going to
yeah.
they're
But
going
if
to
you think
piss
about a
around,
rabbit,
mark their territory. They're not going to take shit from other bucks. They're not going to take shit from humans. They're going to do what they want to do.
yeah. But say a rabbit comes up to an apple tree that
Uh-huh.
you've smeared with the burnt
hmm
shit. It's gonna take one sniff at the tree and it's gonna determine that somebody's died exactly here and I need to get the fuck out.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, because
And
it smells like bacon and death
in
to
that
somebody
case,
who's like a rabbit, you know.
I I might yeah. I need
Smells like
to do some
justice.
thinking about my own place because I have those rabbits below the house next door. I see them when I go to my car at midnight. They're all just
Mm,
hopping around in the front yards.
yeah, just waiting for you to do all the heavy work and the lifting, and then they're gonna come and they're gonna freaking eat around the tree.
I'm gonna make a graphic of you killing rabbits. So,
They're really easy to kill. I just let my dog loose on them,
oh
and
fuck
she
yeah.
runs them deep into the woods, and she comes back, and man, she's so fucking happy when she comes back. She's like, dude, I was a good girl, wasn't I? Never catches the rabbit, which would actually be a good girl. But she gives them a good workout in the evening.
So this image that we brought up, this other design, is a keyhole garden design. So I'm not asking that people change the topography again. Instead, I'm talking about the paths of access. So where you're planting almost all of the 20 by 20, but you're having it to where the path allows you in one place. It allows you to enter the center and then move around from the inside so that everything's a reachable distance. I
Say
advise that.
somebody who has difficulty moving around. This is a much better choice than one that has just straight pathways, narrow pathways. This gives there's more room in the middle if moving is difficult, but still you can reach a lot of different things from just one position, one place.
Uh, I would say that like equally reaching, but this allows the plants to be a different organization. And then also, I'm not suggesting bringing it up, elevating it.
Ah, I was thinking of bringing it up maybe like a foot and a half, 2 feet up from the ground
So whenever it is that
to
people
go like full keyhole.
have been promoting keyholes, typically they'll bring it up off the ground, 3 feet or at least 3 feet, right? To where people aren't bending over or kneeling down. But what I advise for folks is don't reach over 2 feet. Have it to where like the maximum width of your beds are 4 feet. And I would suggest to go lesser than that and or fuck around and find out. Basically, you'll find out how
Yeah,
you want to do it,
yeah.
because I've helped set up community gardens here in my town with some church folks, to where like the people who come around are either the youth that are made to do it, or the elders who think that it's something of service that they need to do. And I've seen a lot of elders not take care of their bodies, and they exit the garden very quickly, and it's a sad thing to see. But that
Elders exiting the garden.
but that last one had it to
That sounds
where,
very dramatic.
yeah, yeah, sadly, right? The Garden of
Yeah,
Eden.
suddenly, yeah.
Sorry. Um, the last one, though, noticed that there weren't any plantings directly around the tree. Instead, we allowed for path there. And so these are just some ideas that you could, just take it, run with it. Nature will be your judge.
And seeds are cheap, and you don't need to practice that much to learn how to take cutlings from almost any plant, and that's a great way to save money if you have a lot of square meters to fill in your yard.
So the next stage of these plants could be that I I use text, actual digital text, and maybe I take a little fruit body and use it as a graphic and place it on the plan. But this was just, again, so that I could just get it out there to people. Notice that this current plan, I'm also not suggesting any topography changes, but I am pointing down where the south is, where the sun is, because in the north portion of this are the trees. And then there on that second row down are more bushy, taller plants. So what I'm doing is I'm analyzing that, how much sun will these things get if they're in the shadows of the other plants.
Yeah. So this is again like layering stuff in pretty much the same footprint.
So this stuff is like a little bit of permaculture, but a lot of let's fit a 20 by 20. What could you do in your backyard? How could this be utilized for the common American nuclear household
This is
with
like
the flat lawn?
the new version of a victory garden from
Yes.
England.
Yes.
Yes, dude.
So this one has two different trees with a guild around it. And then the further you get away from the tree, the more we could have, cucumber or something like that gets away from the tree.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I only had the mint family
There's
getting
squash,
out around.
eggplant squash, all sorts of stuff.
Daraj, let's try to go to the one that's the hugel culture before we wrap this up, because we've been on for an hour and 7.
While you're looking for the last picture, one thing to increase the income, if you want to make that $1,500 per acre is to try to think of ways where you can further sort of process the product that you sell from the farm. So instead of selling strawberries, try to sell strawberry jam, because then you get a higher premium per kilo. Fucking restart. No.
Yeah, Stu Crypto, what I'm analyzing here is guild family relations, and how to implement it on a 20 by 20. You are correct with a permanent garden, permaculture. Have it to where the systems
But this
reseed
is not.
themselves.
But this is not like a food forest type of a situation here.
Yeah, this is people inside the suburbia want to create a garden. So how can I best lay this out with the information that I know? So I analyzed if it is that you want this sort of layout or that sort of layout. How can we populate with these families? Now, a lot of this stuff is going to last to the next year. You might not have to go out there and do the seed saving activity. And we could talk more about seed saving another time.
Yeah. And if this is meant to sort of work as an extra source of nutrition, then I'd like to see a whole lot more in terms of like protein being produced, like beans and peas and stuff. Because like if we run low on eggs and stuff, people are gonna start going really skinny in a hurry if you have to grow your food in the cities.
I was watching YouTube, and I saw this chicken tractor. So I saw this ad for a plastic and thin wired chicken tractor. Um, things are available in small spaces. People just need to try it out. I can imagine the thing being found in the trash the next year. Tried
No,
that, too
easy.
much work, no thanks.
Yeah.
So this layout here is a hugelkultur mound. I believe the path goes straight through the middle. I had it to where there are trees on the left side in order to shade in the afternoon the portions. And so there aren't any topographic lines on here, but you can kind of see the ridge where on the right I wrote rosemary and on the left I wrote lavender.
Yeah.
And then there in the middle of the path, I actually populated the path as well. Interesting.
This is almost like my backyard, except the pathway is wide enough for a tractor, and the beds themselves are a bit longer.
Okay.
And ours are pointed in an east-westerly direction. But I have like two going side by side next to each other, like that.
So I wanted to run those north and south in order to get them the same amount of sun, except for where the trees will shade it.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool. I'm gonna show that to the missus. She's gonna be happy to see it.
Sweet.
Otherwise, it's all gonna be flowers and shit. And I'm like, yeah, flowers are fine, and we have plenty of space. I'm not gonna say like not to plant them there, but it's gonna be cool to show her that we can actually grow some food there in the midst as well.
So this design showing now is called mid fruit trees. And so the idea is like you want a row garden, but you also want the fruit trees in the middle. I believe up there at the top, it has one type of family relationship, completely different from those down at the bottom.
Yeah.
So just using the rows to space out the families. And then also over years' time, you'll need to rotate crops. So your best judgment or analyzing, just flipping around. But nature will heal itself. You have to allow the variety, and this is what comes with attempting to have one size fit all. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Everybody is working under their own situation. So we can't have one cure to suit every situation. And if we said we did, I don't think like we would either be like dishonest or detrimental.
We got a good job, and Stu Crypto is planting into his yard, so that's awesome in the city.
Awesome, Stu.
Belly
Everybody
hacks
everybody needs to plant a bucket full of potatoes this summer. Hey, Belly the Hexagon, that's not a half bad idea. I wonder if you're coming to Budapest, by the way.
You guys are having a meetup
There's
there?
a European meetup.
Mm,
I think it's about 130 days away or something.
sweet. Is that gonna?
So it's gonna
That's gonna be right before the
coincide.
time that I'm gonna get there.
I think so.
Okay.
I think it could be like a few weeks before. Maybe. Unless you come earlier. But if you're not here, I think I'm gonna take the kids and I'm gonna take the whole lot there.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Make Hexacore
Yes,
a reality.
dude.
I'm not traveling.
What? You're not coming?
No, I'm not traveling anywhere any anytime soon. But anyways,
You
we
don't have
are
to take
at
parts in experiments.
either way. I'm happy just laying down, doing nothing.
Dude's afraid of the war. Dude's afraid of the war.
Uh, no, yeah.
Well, you think you're gonna get blown up?
It's gonna
You
the
know,
mushroom cloud is gonna get everybody, man.
yeah. So I better be where I like when
Yeah,
all everything is down.
yeah, that's
Um.
true.
What was I saying?
Belly Hex says
Anyways,
it's in
we
July.
Haha.
Is that right?
it's yeah.
July 14th to 15th?
That sounds interesting. Interesting.
If that's so, then I will be at Finbears.
Yeah,
So we'll have to
I
talk
think
about it.
we might make an appearance in Budapest.
Sweet.
Over the weekend. What do you think?
Sounds great.
We'll drive over. We'll take turns.
Okay.
It's gonna be a few hours, but you're a good driver.
Yeah. A few hours, that's nothing. I
Well,
drove 8 hours the other
we'll
day.
take the boat to Germany, and then we'll drive through Germany
You can
and
sleep
see
on the
if we can
boat, right?
find Hungary somewhere
Do
on
you
the
rent
other
a car
side.
or you take your car on a ferry?
You take yours,
Sweet. That's sleeping
or
time.
we take ours. It's easier. You come and sit next to me. Yeah.
So HOA wants to say that he's got 2 walnut trees and a trampoline. 2 walnut trees and a trampoline.
Yeah, that sounds.
Sounds like you have a family.
That's a weird song, man. Do they produce like edible walnuts? Some walnuts taste like crap, but some are marvelous. It's one or the other. There's not that much like middle ground between walnuts. It's kind of like, oh man, it's like, you know, the guys in these touristy places where they jump from the cliffs into the sea just when the tide is coming in and the waves are like really, really big. There's not like a lot of sort of grandmasters and different levels in the sport. There's like guys who are really good at it, and then there's that shit on that rock.
Oh. Oh. Oof. Good thing they don't have cell phone cameras.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Hey, 1 hour 20 minutes. What do you guys
Yeah.
think? Should we call it?
Yeah. Thanks for
Let's
letting me
Don't you
talk about
guys-
the
Don't
designs.
you guys wish you would have bought Hex last week when when t-shirts were about $1,000? Well, I got news for you. They're $2,000 now. Money machine is twice as expensive as it was last week.
Wow.
Get on board and start winning with us, guys.
Indeed.
Okay, that's it. Time to say the
Outro.
graduation ceremony.
Hãy subscribe cho kênh Ghiền Mì Gõ để không bỏ lỡ